Hey, Darkwing!
Don't. My finger can transform. Guess which one? Allow me.
Transformers 1, an animated movie set in the golden age of Cybertron, before the conflicts between Autobots and Decepticons. Question is, will Transformers 1 be up there with great animated movies such as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or will it be the final nail in the coffin that puts this franchise to rest? Let's get into it. So Transformers 1, in my opinion, is one of the best movies in the franchise, and let me explain why. The film gives us a fresh new take with an origin story based on Cybertron, and due to this, it's not bogged down by the convoluted story of the previous films. Now don't get me wrong, the Michael Bay movies were okay, they were entertaining, but I wouldn't exactly call them great movies. Decent CGI for its time, but overall plots and story were just meh. And let's face it, they pretty much went downhill after the third one. Now, at the start of Transformers 1, we're introduced to Orion Pax, voiced by Chris Hemsworth, a lowly mining droid who believes he's destined for something greater. Chris Hemsworth manages to bring warmth and approachability to the character, which makes his earlier struggles feel more relatable and engaging, and we're also introduced to his best friend, D16, voiced by Brian Tyree Henry. Brian brings multiple layers to the character D16. He isn't just a one-dimensional character. D16 probably has the most emotional depth out of any character in the film. The only downside to D16's character is he lacked a proper backstory, and due to that I felt like I lacked context for some of his motivations, which in my opinion definitely affected the character's full potential. As the film progresses, we're then introduced to more characters such as Sentinel Prime, Cybertron's charismatic leader, voiced by John Hamm. Hamm's voice brings natural authority and character to Sentinel Prime, but whilst Hamm's performance is memorable, Sentinel Prime's backstory and motivations weren't explored enough, which definitely keeps the character from being as memorable as he should be. And then there's Elita 1, another mining droid who unwillingly gets dragged into Orion Pax's shenanigans and is voiced by Scarlett Johansson. Johansson's voice brings authority and strength to Elita 1 and does a great job at balancing the character's tough exterior with heartfelt moments. We're also introduced to the eccentric B127.
Hi there, I'm B127. I'm actually working on some nicknames. The one I'm floating right now is Badassatron, which is actually pronounced Badassatron.
Voiced by Keegan-Michael Keel. Keel manages to bring genuine humour to the film, and does so in a way that doesn't detract from the movie's overall tone. B127's biggest flaw is he's a bit of a one-dimensional character. He doesn't have as much emotional depth or character development as some of the other Transformers, just leaving the character overall a little lacking. Now, what makes the story of Transformers 1 stands out is its emotional core. The relationship between Orion and D16 is the heart of the story, showing a deeply personal journey from the perspectives of two mining droids born without cogs. Key turning points in the story push both characters into difficult decisions that test the convictions and shapes the course of the journeys, and as the stakes grow, the dynamic becomes a reflection of the larger conflict, showcasing how personal connections can be impacted by the broader battle for the world. Now, for long-time fans of the franchise like myself, there's plenty of Easter eggs and lore throughout the film.
Look, that's Starscream, and you're Shockwave, and Soundwave.
Enough!
Gosh, raise your hand if Wave is in your name. There's a lot of Wave.
As for newcomers to the franchise, Transformers 1 is probably the best place to start. Overall, the story was entertaining, and it left me hoping for sequels, especially as there's so much more lore left to tell. Now, the thing I liked most when I was watching Transformers 1 is it took me back to when I used to play the Transformers War for Cybertron games. Me and my mates used to tan the shit out of those games back in the day. Top tier PvP games. It's actually bullshit that they're no longer available to download and play on current gen consoles. Anyway, getting back to the review, the animation in Transformers 1 is definitely not as epic as Into the Spider-Verse movies, but it's not bad by any means. I'd say it's definitely above average. What I do like about the animation is how the Transformers vehicle forms look alien, yet reminiscent of human vehicles. I also think the sheer level of detail throughout the film is on point. Every frame feels polished and intentional. Even in the quieter moments, the animation draws you in with its depth and texture. And the film's sound design and music doesn't just accompany the visuals, it actually amplifies them. Brian Taylor's score manages to weave powerful orchestral arrangements with electronic elements that echo the alien yet industrial nature of Cybertron, which helps set Transformers 1 apart from other entries in the franchise. So, is Transformers 1 actually worth your time? Well, if you were a fan of Transformers before the Michael Bay films, or you've played the War for Cybertron games, then this is a no-brainer. Even if you're not a Transformers fan, but you enjoy animated films, then I'd definitely give this film a watch, as it's an origin story. You don't need to know anything about Transformers before watching, so I'd argue it's actually the best place for newcomers to start the franchise with. Now, this film isn't going to be for everyone. If you're not a Transformers fan and you don't like animated movies, you're probably going to want to give this one a miss. The only thing I hope is that this film revitalises the franchise as a whole. I'd love either a remake or a sequel to the Transformers Cybertron games. Not only that, when it comes to Transformers, I prefer the pre-Earth stories and lore, so I feel the franchise has a lot of potential moving forward, not just with sequel movies, but if they did animated TV shows with the same graphics and voice actors, I reckon it'd actually give the Clone Wars series a run for its money. Until next time peeps, stay frosty.